Hi everyone, and many greetings from beautiful Saarland in Western Germany. We've been invited by Germany Tourism to come back to Germany and capture some more of this beautiful country to share with you. And this time we've ended up in pure nature in a place we've never visited before, so it's very exciting. And we actually traveled here by train today, which took a few hours and a few stops. But we always like to travel by train. It's a very peaceful way to travel, and it's so nice to just sit down and read a book and feel like you can do that for a few hours without having anything else to do. And of course, it's good for the environment as well. To get to where we are now, we traveled to a small city called Saarbrücken. Again, I'm going to butcher the German language. I'm really sorry. I apologize in advance. I think maybe I won't even try as hard as I did last time, but I will do my best not to make it too funny for you all. Anyways, we traveled to this small city by train, and there we rented a car and we drove about 45 minutes to get to where we are now, which is called the Saarschleifen Lodge. It's a really lovely, sustainable lodging, which is set right on this water next to us, which is the Saarschleifen. I think it's very beautiful here. It's super green and lush, and the water is so lovely. We drove along it to come to the lodge, and we're at the end of where the river sort of stops. And this is a great place for hiking, for cycling, and that's a lot of what we're going to be doing while we're here. We are lovers of nature. We're not super fit, but I think it will all be good either way. We have a lovely program set out for us, and we look forward to sharing it with you all. Just to tell you a little bit more about the lodge itself, it's eco-certified, which means it's kind to the environment. And there are a few different types of living arrangements here. We are in some sort of a suite or apartment style place. It's got a kitchen, a lovely bedroom, and a lovely bathroom with a bathtub that I have to use before we leave. But there are also some tree houses and some little apartments. It looks like smaller than this one, but still apartments. And they're set sort of apart from each other. It's very cozy. And right now it's about 6:30 p.m. and we are going to head to the small restaurant that they have here at the lodge and have some dinner. It looks really lovely and the staff is very kind, so I think it's going to be good. So yeah, let's go check it out. The restaurant at the lodge is really small and cozy, and we decided to sit outside so that we could enjoy the beautiful view and the adult-sized swing. Of course, I had to try that. And I really think that this dinner was a great start to our trip. It was so serene and beautiful. And the chef had planned our meal in advance since we were vegan. And it was really yummy, simple, comforting food. This meal was also our first introduction to understanding that this region in Germany is actually a wine region. And Rob was the designated taster of the regional wine, and he really enjoyed it. So definitely try some local wines if you visit. Good morning! We've had a really good sleep here in our lodge. It's so quiet here at night. It's really lovely. It's not at all like at home in the city. It's just crisp and clear and quiet and wonderful to sleep here. And yesterday, like you saw, we had a lovely dinner and they surprised us. They actually prepared a 3-course meal for us that we didn't expect. But we did let them know beforehand that we were vegan, and they've been really great about that. They even prepared gluten-free pasta for me, which is so sweet of them. And yeah, it was actually really yummy, sort of wholesome home-cooked food. So we definitely enjoyed that. And now we feel ready for a day of adventure here in Saarland. But first we need some breakfast, and I'm with my raincoat at the ready because we don't quite know what the weather is going to do today. But we're hoping for not clear skies maybe, but hopefully not pouring rain, but we will see. But first, some breakfast, so let's go get it. breakfast didn't disappoint, and as always in Germany, Rob was in bread heaven, and they actually even had gluten-free bread for me, so it was all good. We feel fueled up and ready for a day of exploring, and we have on the agenda a hike. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that we're gonna have some views of where they grow wine in this region. I think it's called the Moselle Valley, and we might even have some views all the way to France, if I'm not mistaken again. We shall see when we get there. But it is in the area of Pearl, or Pal, I think it's called. And the hike itself is called Panorama Weg, which basically means panoramic road, I guess. So I hope we'll have some gorgeous panoramic views to share with you all. And at the end of this hike, we're also doing a wine tasting. Now, I'm no wine expert. I don't usually drink wine in my day-to-day, but as you know, I like a culinary experience. So I'm looking forward to it. And we're actually in a hurry, so we better go. Let's go and do a hike. If you do want to explore this region to its fullest, it is easiest to do this with a car to zip around in. We noticed this even on the first day, and you also have all these beautiful views as you go. This is where we started our hike, with a view of the Moselle River and the valley that it creates. This is where France, Luxembourg and Germany meet, and you have views of all three countries as you stand on one of the hillsides looking towards the river. We were lucky enough to have Paula with us from the tourism agency in Pearl to show us the hiking route. We didn't manage to walk as far as she had planned, unfortunately, but we really enjoyed the few kilometers that we did walk. Hiking in these beautiful surroundings is definitely something special for the region. Where we are from is very flat, so having all these hills and valleys is definitely a treat. The hike also took us through a beautiful forest path and also an apple orchard, so you really got a little bit of everything. And to finish off our hike, we went to Sendorf, where we met Katharina from the wine estate Schmidt-Weber, and she gave us a wine tasting in this wooden shelter with a gorgeous view again of the Moselle Valley. For a novice like me, this was a really fun experience. Katharina was very friendly and great at explaining about the wines and about the process of growing and making wine as well. For many of us in Europe, this summer was very warm and dry, and Katharina was also explaining how this has affected their grapes, and it was interesting to learn about the challenges they face in relation to climate change. As we were rounding off the wine tasting, the lovely Suzanne from the tourism agency in Pearl had created a version of my recipe for us for lunch, and I think this is a testament to the heart and warmth of the people of this region. We really appreciated this sweet gesture as we enjoyed the salad accompanied by a lot of rain that luckily cleared up before we needed to move on and visit the winery of Schmidt-Weber. A lovely morning hiking with Paula from the tourist agency in Pell, and she showed us some beautiful views, as you saw. And yeah, it's so cool here that we actually could walk from Germany into France and then back into Germany while our view was of Luxembourg. It's a little crazy and super cool, of course, so we really enjoyed that. And then we had fun tasting the wine from Schmidt-Weber. And yeah, I don't know much about wine. I now know a little bit more, which is cool. And we also had some lovely snacks, which we have to thank Suzanne from the tourist agency for as well. It was really yummy. And now we've actually driven a little short while away from where we had our hike, and we've reached another site which is called the Baumwipfelpfad. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a treetop walk, so you walk on this sort of ledge that's up in the treetops. And then there's also a structure that you can climb and have a really lovely lookout point over the Saar River. So where we are staying is on that river, and this is the river that loops. So we're gonna have a spectacular view of that. So let's go check it out. Also here were we greeted by a lovely local working at the Baumwipfelpfad called Paula, who showed us the route to the lookout point. But of course this is very straightforward and you could do it on your own, but we enjoyed the company. Throughout this day the weather kept changing between rainy and really sunny, and it actually gave us a more dynamic experience of the views, which actually we really enjoyed in the end. So we got caught in a little bit of rain at the end of the Baumwipfelpfad walk. It was a beautiful lookout though, and really nice walking through all the trees towards the structure where you walk up to the top. I can totally recommend doing this. The view is spectacular, as you saw, and yeah, it was really cool also to see all the way from up top all the way down to where we're staying, to where I'm sitting right now. It's really fun that we can see this lookout point on the treetop walk from down here, and from up there you can see our lodge. So yeah, we really enjoyed it, totally recommend it. And now we came back, put on some soft and dry clothes, and in a minute we're gonna change again because we're gonna head to dinner. We're gonna go back up the hill, very close to the Baumwipfelpfad. I'm saying this very strangely, I'm sure, but this lookout point, it's very close in the same village. To a restaurant in a hotel at the Landhotel Saarland. I think I'm saying that okay. And we're gonna have some dinner there. And the lovely Paula that took us on the hike this morning, she said this was a super place for vegans to go and eat. So we are very much looking forward to that. And of course we'll take you along when we go. We really enjoyed the old school elegance and charm of this restaurant, and they did have a vegan menu, and for the second night in a row we got to enjoy a nice rainbow with our dinner. We were told that in this region you often start your meal with an aperitif, so of course we had to do that, and I had a local grape non-alcoholic drink that was yummy. And then the dishes started coming and they were beautifully presented, very much a fine dining experience. This restaurant has actually been awarded a Green Sustainability Star, and they make veggies really beautiful and joyous to eat. Our meal consisted of a colorful amuse-bouche, a caramelized shallot tarte tatin, a sweet potato gnocchi with greens, and a green pea risotto with mushrooms and rice crackers. For dessert, we shared a lemon sorbet and an almond and apple strudel. Of course, I had the sorbet and Rob had the strudel, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it. another good morning from the Saar River Bend. Today is actually our last morning here. We're checking out of the lodge, and this evening we will check into a different hotel in a different part of Saarland. But first we're going to go into Saarbrücken, the little city that we took the train into, and we're going to have a food tour. Of course, I'm very excited about this. And then after that we're going to head to the Völklingen. I think that's how it's called. It's an ironworks and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So again, very excited about that. And then we're going to have dinner at a food truck, a vegan food truck. So we've got a full day, lots of fun going on. But first we're going to drive to Saarbrücken, so we'll see you there. We started our food tour at a farmer's market in Ludwigsmark, and it's a very local market full of gorgeous veggies, and of course this was right up my alley. Then we headed more towards the center of town together with our lovely guide Joe, who showed us around Saarbrücken. We headed to Bauernmarkt at St. Johannemarkt, and from there we went to Lillys Küchenwerkstatt, or Lily's Kitchen Workshop, which is a vegetarian and vegan cake shop where the selection of cakes is always 50% vegan and gorgeous, I must say. We tried a selection of Lily's cakes, and there were options made with local ingredients, gluten-free options, a delicious chocolate cake we definitely recommend. Next up we headed to Kalinski's, which is a sausage shop, and they actually have vegan sausages here, and they make vegan currywurst, or curry dog, I guess. And this is a famous German dish. If you saw our Berlin video, you know that it originated there, and this one was definitely delicious. Maybe even more delicious than the one we had in Berlin, if I dare say so. Next door to Kalinski's you can also find a really lovely bakery, and from there we kept walking actually onto Joe's shop. It's called Saarlor Deluxe, and it's a place where they want to bring together the best foodstuffs from the region, and that's not just from the German side but also from the neighboring regions in Luxembourg and France as well. It's a place where small-scale producers can find a common home. You can find lots of fun ingredients here, everything from spices to pickled veg to booze. And it's a great place to pick up some souvenirs, I think, if you want to give your foodie friends at home something to taste from the region. It's worth mentioning, of course, that all the places we visited on our food tour has a sustainability mindset and work with a lot of local ingredients. The next spot on our agenda was Fructeria, where they make lots of yummy pickles. We got to try 3 varieties and we thoroughly enjoyed them. They were very tart and had a good bite to them, which we liked. They also make lots of jams here, again a great place to pick up a souvenir. And from there we headed to Kostbar, where we were scheduled to have some lunch. And this is a lovely little spot tucked away with a gorgeous courtyard that we would have loved to sit in with better weather. And we had a mixed plate here with inspiration from the Middle East. And of course we enjoyed it. We love these flavors, and it had lots of yummy stuff on it. As you can see, we are no longer on our food tour, which we did thoroughly enjoy. Saarland definitely has a lot of good food, and Saarbrücken, where we took the food tour, of course. We have now made it to the Völklingenhütte, which is the ironworks. It's the World UNESCO Heritage Site. You can already see it behind me. And we're going to have a guided tour here and see all of it and take you along. I'm very excited for this. It looks amazing already, so let's go check it out. The Völklingen Ironworks is actually the world's only completely preserved ironworks from the heyday of industrialization, and at the same time it's also the first industrial monument of this era to be included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. What I personally really enjoyed about our visit was that we could learn about the historical function of the spaces we visited. but they've also repurposed a lot of it to exhibit contemporary artwork. As with many places you visit in Germany, there's also a connection to the history of the Second World War, and here's the monument that they created here at the Völklingenhütte to remember the forced laborers that worked here. I really appreciate that they acknowledge this and that all these things can coexist in this space. Our guide for the day, Detlef, was really passionate and so knowledgeable about the function of everything you see at the ironworks. I totally recommend a guided tour here so that you actually understand the things you are seeing. But also it's just an incredible place to visit and to experience. There's so much to see, to do, to explore, and during our visit we even went to the very top of the ironworks, which is pretty high up, and we again had spectacular views. We were definitely spoiled for views during this trip. Our last stop on our guided tour was this spot called the Paradise. It's where they've allowed nature to rewild and grow alongside the structures. There's a lot of interesting juxtaposition between the industrial factory buildings and the greenery. And again, there's artwork to explore here as well. Okay, wow, we have thoroughly enjoyed our time here at the ironworks at the Völklingenhütte. It's an incredible place. I could totally recommend all of you to come here and see it. It's something completely unique, something I've never seen before, and our guide Detlef was really very knowledgeable and had a good spirit, so we really enjoyed the tour of this incredible place. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Now we are going to take a quick drive to Hamburg, where we're gonna visit a vegan food truck. So some food to finish this lovely day of exploring. We've had such a good time already. I can only hope that the food is the cherry on the cake. Cherry on the cake, I think that's the saying anyway. So yeah, let's take a little drive and go get some food. Okay, so the food truck here in Zweibrücken was actually closed, unfortunately. Today they had closed at 4:30, we got here at 6:30, so no food here. So we thought we'll drive to our new hotel, which is located in Hamburg. I've never been there before. It will be interesting to see, and we thought we'd check if maybe we can eat something at the hotel, and if not, we'll see if there's a supermarket, and I think a little hotel room picnic is in order. So we shall see, we shall see. good morning from our last day here in Saarland. I'm standing here on our balcony at our hotel because the view is spectacular. I feel like everywhere you go here you have a great view. There are lots of hills and valleys, so there's always something interesting to see. We're about 55 minutes from where we stayed beforehand at the lodge, and we're on top of a hill, on top of the Schlossberg. And yeah, we had some breakfast here at the hotel. They had good options. They had gluten-free bread, gluten-free muesli, vegan butter, and of course yummy veggies, fruit, and a good selection of tea. So we really enjoyed it, and of course the view makes everything better. And what you can see behind me is actually the city of Hamburg, or the town. Not to be mistaken for Hamburg with an A. This is Hamburg with an O. And next we have a cave to explore. Then we're gonna go for lunch at another hotel, and then in the afternoon we're going on a little cycling tour before dinner. Or little, it could be quite long, we shall see. So another full day ahead, and first we're going to explore the caves. So that's what we're doing now. The caves are actually located right underneath the hotel where we stayed, so it was a short walk to get down there. And when we arrived, Marcus, who's actually the graphic designer there, explained a lot about the cave to us and gave us a map, so we felt well equipped to explore on our own. So I've got another hard hat on today because you need to wear them in the caves, and these caves are actually called the Schlossberg Caves. So that is because there was a fortress on top of this mountain or hill where the caves are underneath, and it was built there because the caves were underneath, because they thought they could store things down here. But initially it was used as a sand mine, to retrieve sand, to make glass, and also for scouring. So you can see lots of layers here, and also there are some patterns of animals from way back before before the dinosaurs that we are used to seeing in the kids' books. So we're gonna see some paw prints, I guess, or lizard prints a little further along. So let's go and see them. Okay, so we had a really nice time in the cave. It's actually very cool. It's not very big, but it's fun to explore and learn about the history of the area. And now we are going to head to lunch to a hotel down in the town, if I'm understanding the program correctly. It's called the Peters Hotel, and we're gonna have some nice food there hopefully, and we're also gonna pick up our bikes there for our afternoon cycling adventure. So that's what's up next. Our lunch spot, the Peters Hotel, is actually also a spa, so it's very calm and serene, and it has a beautiful view of the water here. During this lunch, Rob finally got to try the local Carlsberg with a K beer, and it's a very light lager. And we also had some soup to start and a veggie curry for lunch. The food was really beautifully presented, and once we had eaten, we headed downstairs to rent our e-bikes. We had our route set on the Commute app and we're off to a good start. Once we felt that we had seen enough on 2 wheels, we opted to stop off at one of the sites en route. We decided to head to the Beda Biotope. It's a place where you can normally admire rare animals such as conic horses, heck cattle, and even water buffalo on a little viewing platform. This ensures that this area is grazed in a natural way. Unfortunately, we didn't see the bigger animals, but we spotted a lot of beautiful birds and plants and really enjoyed our walk around the area. Then we headed to our dinner spot. It was in a little town called Zweibrücken and the place was called Chez David. David himself actually came out to greet us and made us feel very welcome. And we decided to start our meal with a drink, and Rob had some wine again from the local region, and I had an Apfelschorle, which is like an apple juice mixed with sparkling water. Then I had my second ever Globe artichoke, and it was absolutely delicious. The sauce that they had prepared for it was also so good, almost like a buttery vinaigrette. Chez David's restaurant is actually very close to France, and I feel like it almost had a little French vibe about it. We really enjoyed the atmosphere and the sort of local feeling of the place. And our next dish was a gorgeous salad made from berries and tomatoes from David's own greenhouse at the back, which he kindly showed us. And he actually grows a lot of his veggies nearby at his own farm. We did spend quite a few hours at the restaurant, and finally our main came, which was a type of potato dish that is specific for this part of Germany, where one part is cooked more than the other. It also had chanterelles and carrots, and it was yummy. Then we had a lovely dessert followed by a lot of herbs shown to us by David, and then it was time to call it a night for the last time in Saarland. So we've come to the end of our trip here in Saarland, and I think we finished on a high yesterday with dinner at Chez David or Chez David. It was really yummy, and he's definitely a passionate, spirited guy. He's passionate about his craft and his food, and it really shone through because the food was delicious. But if you do want to have a vegan meal at his place though, you need to call ahead and let him know, because his regular menu doesn't have vegan dishes on it, but he can definitely cook you up something delicious if you let him know in advance that you're coming. And yeah, it's been a really nice trip. People here are very friendly, warm, they want to chat, and they're very passionate about what they do, it seems, and that's an aspect that we really enjoyed here in Saarland. And the other highlight, I would say, is the gorgeous nature. We feel very lucky to have had all these lovely views of the hills and mountains and the valleys and the river Saar. It's all very breathtaking actually, and especially from us coming from a very flat part of Sweden, this has been a real treat. But yeah, now we're gonna head back home to Malmö, and we hope you've enjoyed coming with us on this adventure here in Germany and Saarland. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.